Hi, my name is Wandjell, and I am the founder and CEO of the Freedom Child Foundation.
Hello, my name is Marty, and I am the co-founder and vice president of the Freedom Child Foundation.
The idea of the foundation came from personal experience. When I was younger, I was severely impacted by parental incarceration because both of my parents were incarcerated. And so I just remember profoundly the emotions, the lack of resources that I had to stay in contact with both of my parents, to continue to go to visitation, to have money on the phone calls. So once I started advocating for family members to have just more affordable phone calls, I just started thinking like, well, there has to be something else for those kids who are infected or affected by parental incarceration. And I'm like, well, what are their needs? What do they feel like they need? And I know for a fact they need to stay in contact. And the three main ways to stay in contact with your parent who is incarcerated is through letters, talking on the phone, and visitation, whether that is through video or in person. The mission of the foundation is to ensure that every child who wants to stay in contact or connected to their incarcerated parent always has the means to do so, whether that is money to be able to afford the phone calls, whether that is just stationery, stamps, envelopes, access to the nearest post office, pins, because for the DOC you have to have a specific letter writing instrument. You can't have markers. So just making sure that they're constantly informed about what stationery materials they need, and then visitation, so transportation to visitation. Most correctional facilities are like hours away from home, and so it can be very hard trying to get on a train or get a rental, get gas, or maybe even once they get to visitation, the food is very expensive. And so I don't want kids to have to deal with that kind of burden. When they finally get to visitation, it took us 3 hours to get here. We're gonna sit and talk for a couple hours and I'm hungry, but I can't get anything to eat because a burger is $5. So I just wanna make sure that the process is as comfortable as possible for kids, so that, you know, they aren't completely traumatized. There will be trauma because incarceration is traumatic within itself. However, there are certain resources that they can have that'll make the experience a little bit more easy. And so I guess future goals, since the foundation is open to every state, we have visitors who come in that are global, but right now the applicants are from different states. I would love to fly into their states, have like little seminars, get all the kids in that state or area together so we can have just like little support groups or whatever. Obviously with COVID, it will have to be via Zoom or something like that. And then we also want to eventually get like group homes, so that those kids, if they are in foster care, which a lot of times they are, maybe they're living with their grandmother for the time, if they happen to become homeless, they have a place to go.
And it's very important that we do things of this sort, because a lot of times children may seem forgotten or they get lost in the system, and that's one thing we don't want, because when you don't have that parental structure in the home, you lose a lot. Parents are very important, and we do want children to know no matter what your parents went through, you don't have to go down that road. So it's like, it's the biggest deal is to like make sure that we change the next generation. Even though we want this foundation to be around for a long time, I don't really want it to be necessary. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be such a necessary thing to where now the kids that we've helped, we got to help their kids, because, you know, so it's the biggest thing of changing a generation to where you can stop or break a curse. Yeah,
aside from providing like the resources to stay in contact with their parent, we definitely do some personal, intricate like profiles for each family. We focus on the totality, so I ask them questions about like, well, what do you feel like you need therapy? Do you feel like you want to be in extracurricular activities but you don't have access to them? And so I research within that area what is available to them, and I give them the tools. Now I can't make the parent or the guardian go out and actually put the work in, but I can provide them with the direction to go in hopes that they will make those necessary changes for the child's benefit.
And I think it's very important, like you said, one of our goals is the fact to be able to go to these different states and meet with the children and parents one-on-one. The reason why that's so important is because I can FaceTime you, I can Zoom you, and a lot of times that doesn't give you the greatest connection, but you can really feel my heart and understand who I am, that I'm really here to help you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times these kids in these systems, they meet so many people along the way that it's hard to trust, or it's hard to value that real relationship. So going to them, being there with them, whether it's taking them out to lunch, like, hey, let's talk, let's chop it up, let's see how you're doing, finding a therapy session, find a therapist for them so that they can talk about their trauma, is all important. So that's definitely a part of our goals.
Absolutely. So I think for me, so far, since the foundation is pretty new, I think one of the biggest accomplishments is just seeing the different people from different states going onto the website, filling out the applications. That is just like very empowering to me, because it's like, even though I'm here in Houston, there are people across the nation who needs this foundation, who needs these resources. And then also receiving the applicants. At the bottom of each application, there is a space for them to put why they feel like they need to be a part of the foundation, or why they feel like the foundation can help them, and just seeing the responses. Now, the responses are heartbreaking, but to see children being that vulnerable with me and trusting that I will be able to provide them with some relief actually makes me feel good, and it keeps me going.
Yeah, I can say one of the greatest things that I've seen as it relates to the foundation, or something that really sticks out and has stuck with me, is the fact of seeing a child that was once in that situation be the founder of this foundation. You know, that's like the biggest thing every day, no matter if it's sending a letter to a child or boxing up goods. It's a great accomplishment to even know that there is somebody who won, you know, outside of this. I mean, so she is the greatest testament. So, I mean, I don't feel like there's nobody greater that could do this job, or that can have thought of this, or, you know, I've been blessed with this vision from God to do it, because it's like, yo, like, you made it out where there was a lot of people that went through the system and got lost. You know, so it's like, I'm like, every day that I see that we get a new box, or we get a new, you know, new applicant or something like that, it's like, man, this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't get affected by it. You know, it affected her life, but it didn't really affect her future. So therefore, now she can actually help somebody else. Like, hey, look, I went through it. I was there. Let me help you. So yeah, that's good for me.
And then also other organizations kind of seeing the work and just making very generous donations to make sure that I have the marketing materials that I need, or to make sure that the kids have the different stationery materials, or just to add other things to the boxes. That is a huge deal too. Just like this morning, someone was contacting me asking me like, well, do you have anything for like 2-year-olds? Even though the foundation caters to 5-year-olds to 17-year-olds, I'm like, well, tell me what your situation is, and I'll see how I can provide a type of resource for you. Even though the foundation is not here to cater to you, I'm not too big where I can't help you along the way, or point you in the right direction. Oh, also, whenever you ensure that a person who is incarcerated has a family system when they are released, it reduces the recidivism rate. So obviously nonprofits aren't supposed to be political. However, myself as an advocate in doing the advocacy work that I have done with the prison phone justice, it's just important to make sure that those people have a community when they come home, because we know that with communities we can be more successful with resources, with access, because there are times people have gone to jail for 20 years and was not able to talk to anyone. So when they come out to this new world and it looks like a roller coaster ride outside your window, you don't know what to do, and if you don't have family members who can help you, it just gets very hard. Therefore, let me just reoffend. And so I think it's just very important that at least parents have a chance to stay in contact with their kids while they are away.